Hi everyone, hope you guys are all having a great day so far. So for my research topic, I dealt with the theme of race, and the the title of my article is called Content Analysis of the Portrayal of White Characters in Black Films Across 2 Decades. The overview of this article mainly talks about how race and media research in the U.S. emphasizes the representation of ethnic minorities in mainstream media. And with that being said, just basically saying how race and media kind of come together and how they are kind of depicted onto media platforms. And some of the key research that I picked up was talking about how the Black Hollywood films construct white racial identity and kind of ignore the white and black dynamics. And something else that I would like to point out also is how the authors of this article argue about how the meanings of race from minority perspectives is important because it expands the discourse surrounding race beyond that of the majority perspective. And it also studies the whiteness from a minority perspective and how it sheds insight into how racial minorities understand and express their racial standpoints. And the last point is how it can offer insights for media creatives on how to tell more inclusive stories. And so there were 5 main questions that were asked during this topic. But before I get into that, let me talk to you guys about some of the key theories that were involved in this article. So some of the theories were basically about social identity theory and critical race theory. And social identity theory argues that we are motivated to categorize ourselves and evaluate other groups in such a way that reinforces positive in-group feelings. I found this kind of interesting, and just kind of like how we kind of position ourselves a certain way, and just kind of like how we all interact with each other, and also with the critical race theory also, just and how that deals with everything, kind of how races are pinpointed against each other in media, and just basically saying how one race is kind of more above, if you will, other races. And so for the 5 hypothesis questions that were asked, number 1 was white characters in black films will be portrayed more unfavorably than favorably. 2, white characters will be portrayed more favorably in contemporary black films than older black films. Number 3, white characters will be portrayed less favorably in comedies than in other genres. White characters in black films will have fewer interactions with out-group characters, which is the blacks, and then with in-group characters, which is the whites. And the last one is white characters in black films will be portrayed more favorably when interacting with in-group members, the whites, than with out-groups, which is the blacks. So basically the sample of this article was getting about 32 black films that range from the 1990s into the early 2000s. So there were 15 movies that were judged from the early 90s, and then 17 movies from the early 2000s that were judged. And the authors did a content analysis part to this. And they based them on these two groups on character level and interaction with other races. And they divided those into little subcategories for each film. So each film had its own little different categories as to how things were judged. So some of the coding categories that the authors judged these movies off of were movie ratings, the type of genre of the movie, interaction time, character number, meaning how many characters were in one scene, whether it was one or two or multiple. The types of interactions between the two races, the demographics of the characters, and the personality attributes and physical appearances of the characters. And some of the results were very interesting. For question number 1, and how that kind of states back to kind of how white characters in black films will be portrayed. It mentioned that the white characters were portrayed favorably, so there wasn't really any problem with that, so that one was not supported. Hypothesis 2, will the white characters will be portrayed more favorably in contemporary black films. That was not supported. Number 3 was white characters will be portrayed less favorably in comedies. That one was not supported. They were both pretty equal in that. Number 4 dealt with how white characters in black films will have fewer interactions with out-group characters. That one was not supported. And number 5 dealt with how the white characters in the black films will be portrayed more favorably when interacting with in-group, meaning their own race. And that one was also supported. They were interacting more. And so kind of like what I learned from this was how research still has a lot more to learn, and how we all as a society still have a long ways to go. For the most part, in the early 2000s, most of the races were interacting, so that was a positive side to it. But we still have a long ways to go and figure stuff out. So I am confident that this will happen, and I'm confident that time will tell, and it's just something that we all have to work on, and I know it'll happen. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm sorry, I can't wait to see all of your guys' videos. Thank you.